I'll never forget the look in my patient's eyes. We'll call her Eleanor. She was this vibrant woman in her late 60s, the kind of person you'd see walking her golden retriever at sunrise, always smiling. She did everything right, ate a healthy diet, exercised daily, and was incredibly diligent about her daily vitamins. She believed, like so many of us do, that these pills were her insurance policy for a long, healthy life. But one morning, she woke up and half of her world was just gone. She tried to call for her husband, but the words were stuck. She tried to swing her legs out of bed, but her right side wouldn't move. A devastating stroke had hit in the middle of the night, stealing her voice, her movement, and her independence in a single moment. As a brain doctor, I've stood on the front lines watching these tragedies unfold for years. And for a long time, I recommended some of these same vitamins to my patients, my family, and I even took them myself. I thought I was protecting them. But a wave of new research has uncovered a connection so shocking that I can't stay silent anymore. What I'm about to tell you flies in the face of so much common wisdom, and it could save your life or the life of someone you love. I've spent my life trying to understand the human brain, this amazing 3-pound universe that holds our memories, our personalities, our very soul. My mission has always been to protect it, but the evidence is now clear. The very things we buy over the counter, the bottles lining our medicine cabinets promising vitality, may hold a hidden danger. A danger that can quietly increase the risk for certain types of stroke, particularly for those of us over 60. This isn't about scaring you, it's about empowering you. It's about giving you the real story so you can make informed decisions about your own health. The supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar machine, and it's not always in their best interest for you to know what I'm about to share. So before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed yet, I really recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell for all notifications. The information I share is designed to cut through the marketing noise and give you the science you need to protect your health. My only goal is to make sure you never miss a health tip that could make all the difference. Now let's pull back the curtain on the first vitamin, one that's been praised for heart and brain health for decades. Its hidden dark side is truly alarming. For as long as I can remember, vitamin E has been sold to us as a miracle antioxidant. You've seen the labels, you've heard the claims. It's good for your skin, it boosts your immune system, and it's supposed to be incredible for your heart and brain. It keeps you young, they say, and honestly, for years, that's what the medical community largely believed. I had a patient, a retired engineer in his early 70s named William. Sharp guy, detail-oriented, and he brought a list of his supplements to every appointment. Right at the top, in bold letters, was vitamin E, 400 IU, every single day. He told me, "Doc, this stuff keeps my blood flowing smooth." One afternoon, his wife called my office, panicked. William had a splitting headache, was dizzy, and seemed confused. By the time he got to the hospital, a scan revealed the terrifying truth. A hemorrhagic stroke. We were all stunned. His blood pressure was under control, and he wasn't on any prescription blood thinners. What could have caused this? The answer was right there on his supplement list. What most people, including William, aren't told is that high doses of vitamin E have a potent blood thinning effect. It works by interfering with vitamin K, which your body needs for blood to clot properly. In a younger person, this might not cause a huge problem, but in a senior whose blood vessels might have become more fragile over time, it can create a perfect storm. Think of your blood vessels like old pipes. They can handle the normal flow, but if you thin the water too much and there's a weak spot, is going to spring a leak. That's what high-dose vitamin E can do inside your brain. A landmark 2010 meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal confirmed this risk. It found that high-dose vitamin E supplementation raised the risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, the bleeding type, by 22%. Now, to be clear, this is the less common type of stroke, and the overall absolute risk is still low. But why would you take something to protect your health that knowingly increases your risk for the deadliest type of stroke? What's really insidious is that this risk gets worse if you're also taking other common things that thin the blood. A daily low-dose aspirin, fish oil, ginkgo biloba. Each one adds another drop to a dangerous cocktail. It's a silent risk that builds up day after day. So, what's the solution? You don't need to avoid vitamin E, you just need to get it from the right source. The vitamin E in food is a complex of 8 different compounds that work together. Most pills just give you one, alpha tocopherol. Nature gives you the balance your body needs. You can find rich, safe sources of vitamin E in almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, and avocados. Eating a handful of almonds gives you protective vitamin E without the concentrated high-dose risk. It's about nutrition, not chemistry. And if that doesn't make you think twice about what's in your pill organizer, what if I told you the sunshine vitamin could be casting a dark shadow on your health? Next up is vitamin D. For the past decade, it's been the absolute darling of the wellness world. We've been told that almost everyone is deficient and that supplementing is essential for bones, immunity, and even stroke prevention. And it's true, being severely deficient in vitamin D is linked to a higher risk of ischemic stroke, the kind caused by a clot. This is a fact, and it's why so many doctors, myself included, have recommended modest supplementation for people with a proven deficiency. But here's the paradox the headlines always miss. The wellness industry has pushed this idea that more is better, leading millions of people to take massive doses, 5,000 IU, 10,000 IU, or even more, day after day without any medical supervision. I remember a patient, Carol, who was convinced that megadosing vitamin D was her secret to getting through the winter sick-free. She was proudly taking 10,000 IU daily. She came to me complaining of fatigue, brain fog, and just feeling off. Her blood work showed her vitamin D levels were sky high in the toxic range. But the real concern was what we found on a routine scan, early signs of calcification in her arteries. Here's the danger that nobody prints on the front of a supplement bottle. When you take massive doses of vitamin D, it can lead to abnormally high calcium levels in your blood, a condition called hypercalcemia. Your body has too much calcium, and it doesn't just go to your bones. It can get deposited in soft tissues like your arteries. This process is called vascular calcification. In simple terms, your flexible blood vessels can start to stiffen and harden. Stiff, calcified arteries are a major risk factor for high blood pressure, which is a leading cause of stroke. While direct evidence linking typical high-dose vitamin D to stroke is still being studied, the risk of vascular calcification from toxic levels is a well-documented concern. You could be, with the best of intentions, creating the very conditions you're trying to prevent. The message isn't that vitamin D is bad, it's that it must be respected. The more is better philosophy is just plain dangerous. The solution is balance. First, get your levels tested. Don't guess. If you are deficient, work with your doctor on a modest supplementation plan, not a mega dose. The safest way to get vitamin D is how nature intended, sensible sun exposure. Just 15 to 20 minutes a few times a week can do wonders. You can also find it in fatty fish like salmon and in fortified milk. This way, your body gets what it needs without being overwhelmed. Now, if the thought of your vitamins hardening your arteries isn't enough to make you pause, the next one is even more misunderstood. Vitamin A is crucial for vision, immunity, and cell growth. You find it in things like carrots, sweet potatoes, and leafy greens in its natural form from plants, beta-carotene. It's a fantastic nutrient. But the story changes when we talk about high-dose preformed vitamin A, often listed as retinol or retinol palmitate. Found in many multivitamins, the promise is anti-aging and cellular repair. The reality can be much grimmer. What the labels don't tell you is that vitamin A toxicity, or hypervitaminosis A, is a real and dangerous condition. And it can be easier to reach those levels than you think. Let me tell you about a patient, Frank. He was in his late 70s and started taking a high-potency, anti-aging multivitamin he found online. A few months later, he began having unexplained headaches and dizzy spells. One evening, after a bad coughing fit, he collapsed. He'd suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. When we looked at his case, the usual culprits weren't there, but his supplement contained a massive dose of preformed vitamin A. Here's the hidden mechanism. Extremely high levels of retinol can increase intracranial pressure, the pressure inside your skull. At the same time, it can interfere with blood clotting. A review in the medical journal Nutrients notes that vitamin A toxicity can lead to a range of bleeding complications. Think of it like overinflating a tire. Too much pressure creates a dangerous situation. Combine that pressure with a sudden spike from a sneeze or a cough, and you have a recipe for disaster in the delicate vessels of the brain. Now, this is primarily a risk with chronic, very high intake, not your standard one-a-day multivitamin. But many people think if one is good, two must be better. So what's the safe path? Focus on food. Let your body do the work. When you eat beta-carotene from foods like carrots and spinach, your body intelligently converts only the amount of vitamin A it needs. There's no risk of toxicity from eating these foods. Your body's wisdom is far superior to a chemist's formulation. Enjoy a sweet potato. Have a salad. You'll get all the vitamin A you need safely. Now, I want to ask you a quick question. If you're finding this information valuable, please type a 1 in the comments below. It just helps me know that I'm on the right track. Next, we need to discuss a B vitamin that's often sold for energy, but in high doses, it can become toxic to your nerves. Vitamin B6, or pyridoxine, is a curious case. It's vital for over 100 different processes in your body, including nerve function. Because of this, it's been aggressively marketed for energy, mood, and nerve health. But this is where the story takes a sharp turn. The very thing marketed to protect your nerves can become toxic to them in high doses. I had a patient, Mary, a retired teacher, who started taking a B-complex supplement for fatigue. A few months later, she started noticing a tingling and numbness in her feet that slowly crept up her legs. She felt unsteady, her balance was off, and she was dropping things. She just chalked it up to getting older, one of the most dangerous phrases I hear. When she came to see me, we found her vitamin B6 levels were through the roof. She was suffering from pyridoxine-induced peripheral neuropathy, nerve damage caused by too much B6. Here's where we need to be very clear. Unlike the other vitamins, there's no direct evidence that B6 increases stroke risk. In fact, several studies show that a healthy intake of B6 is associated with a reduced risk of stroke. The danger here isn't stroke, but it's still serious. The supplement industry pushes these mega doses, telling you it's water soluble, so you'll just pee out what you don't need. This is a dangerous half-truth. your body can become overwhelmed, leading to toxic levels that can cause real and sometimes permanent nerve damage. This can affect your balance and coordination, leading to falls. For a senior, a fall can mean a head injury or a broken hip, events that can absolutely lead to a stroke down the line. So while the vitamin itself doesn't cause the stroke, its toxic effect creates a clear physical danger. The symptoms of B6 toxicity, dizziness, loss of coordination, numbness, can even mimic the warning signs of a stroke, causing people to ignore what's really going on. The solution, again, is your plate, not a pill bottle. Vitamin B6 is abundant in food. You can get everything you need from chickpeas, tuna, salmon, and chicken. There is virtually no risk of toxicity from food sources. Your body knows what to do with the B6 from a banana. It doesn't know what to do with a 100 milligram synthetic chemical bomb all at once. Finally, let's talk about a vitamin often taken for cholesterol that can have some very uncomfortable side effects. Niacin, or vitamin B3, has a unique history. For decades, doctors prescribed very high drug-like doses of niacin to manage cholesterol. Because it was used as a prescription, people assumed it was totally safe and started taking high-dose over-the-counter supplements without medical supervision. This is a high-stakes gamble. High-dose niacin doesn't act like a vitamin. It acts like a powerful drug with real side effects. And that's where we really come into our own by giving too high a cycle. So in the previous 3 to 5 decades, this is a high-stakes gamble. High-dose niacin doesn't act like a vitamin. It actually turns. I think of my patient Thomas, who read that niacin was natural and could help his cholesterol. He started taking a 500 mg supplement. He got the famous niacin flush, that hot, red, itchy feeling, but pushed through thinking it meant it was working. What he didn't realize were the other changes happening. He started having episodes of dizziness when standing up, and sometimes his vision would blur. The hidden danger of high-dose niacin is that it can cause your blood vessels to dilate suddenly, leading to a sharp drop in blood pressure. While it's not directly proven to cause strokes, this kind of vascular instability isn't something to play around with, especially in older adults. Furthermore, high-dose niacin can also raise blood sugar and put a strain on the liver, adding other health risks to the pile. Thomas thought he was taking a simple vitamin, but he was unwittingly taking a powerful drug without any medical monitoring. The safe alternative is in your kitchen. Your body gets all the niacin it needs from chicken, turkey, tuna, and mushrooms. These foods support your metabolism without sending your body on a roller coaster. If you have cholesterol concerns, the answer isn't a high-dose supplement from the internet. It's a comprehensive plan from your doctor. So we've pulled back the curtain on vitamin E, D, A, B6, and niacin. 5 common supplements, each carrying a hidden risk when taken in high doses without guidance. The common thread here isn't that vitamins are bad. It's that the supplemental form, a high, concentrated dose, is not the same as nutrition from whole foods. A pill is an isolated chemical, an almond, a carrot, a piece of salmon. These are complex symphonies of nutrients that work together. For years, we've been sold the idea that we can package health into a bottle. But the evidence is now clear. For most people, most of the time, that's a dangerous illusion. The real path to protecting your brain isn't in the supplement aisle. It's in your grocery cart. It's in eating a balanced diet rich in real food. You are the guardian of your own health. Question what you put into your body. Look at the labels. Talk to your doctor, not just about prescriptions, but about supplements too. More is not better. And natural is not always safe. Your brain is the most magnificent thing you will ever own. Protect it with the wisdom nature has provided, not with the promises of a factory. If this video opened your eyes, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone you know who might be relying on these supplements without knowing the risks. And be sure to subscribe and click the bell, because my mission is to keep bringing you the unvarnished truth for your health journey. Thank you for watching. Be well and be wise.